Hello everyone, a very good morning to all. So this is the last video for our last unit, that is fourth unit, which is non-aqueous solvents. So in this video, we'll be discussing everything about liquid sulfur dioxide as non-aqueous solvent. So liquid sulfur dioxide is a aprotic solvent as it it doesn't contain any proton. It doesn't contain any ionizable proton. So it has low melting point and boiling point. It is having the range of liquid range of minus 10 degrees Celsius to minus 75.5 degrees Celsius. It is quite easy to purify using H2SO4, which removes SO3 gas, and P2O5, which removes the traces of moisture. So it has small dielectric constant. So it is a good solvent. We can say it is a good solvent for covalent compounds. So coming to its structure in gaseous form is angular like this. One is a coordinate bond with oxygen and one is a double bond with oxygen. So this is the actual structure is the resonance hybrid of these three structures. So the angle between two oxygens is 120 degree, and there is uh, so this is the angle between is and the bond angle is 1.43 angstrom. Coming to the solubility of different compounds, if we want to have a view that which want to have an idea what compounds are soluble and what compounds are not. So inorganic compounds like iodides, thiocyanates, these are most soluble in liquid sulfur dioxide, and alkali metal halides are having the solubility, with metal iodides having highest solubility and metal fluorides having least solubility in liquid sulfur dioxide. Uni-negative polyatomic anions, these are generally more soluble in comparison to the multi-negative anionic salts. So metals are insoluble. This is the property which is unlike ammonia, where metals were soluble in ammonia. So here metals are not soluble. Covalent compounds like halogens, interhalogen compounds, oxyhalides of sulfur, etc. These are soluble. So among the organics, aromatic and alkenes are very soluble in comparison to saturated ones. So many compounds are soluble due to solvate formation, because they as liquid sulfur dioxide very easily form solvates. So many donor compounds also form solvates with SO2, because SO2 is having it behaves as a Lewis acid. So because it is having the octet of the sulfur is not complete in sulfur dioxide. So this is the autoionization reaction for sulfur dioxide. So the cationic part is thionyl, that is SO2 positive, and the anionic part is sulfite, that is SO3 whole 2 negative. So now coming to the reactions which can be carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide. These are the acid-base reactions. So acids and bases, according to the solvent system concept, those who will generate the cation characteristic will behave as an acid, and those who will be generating the anion characteristic of SO2 will behave as base. So SOCl2, SOBr2, these will generate the cation characteristic. So these will behave as acid, and cesium sulfite and other sulfides, these will behave as bases, as they will generate the anion characteristic of SO2. So this is the neutralization reaction between the liquid SO2 acids and liquid SO2 bases. So the solvent here is liquid SO2, and we'll get sulfur dioxide, and salt formation is there, that is cesium chloride. Now coming to the solvolytic reactions. So solvolytic reactions are generally not very common for sulfur dioxide. Here is one example. Here we have taken this compound. This reaction is very much similar as the ammonium acetates behave in case of water. So here is the reaction of ammonium acetate, how it will behave in sulfur dioxide. So we can have the idea about the products. If you get this confusion, what are the products are, what are the products for this reaction? And so if you find the reaction with water easier, so you can first write down the products with water and just replace the cationic part of the water as solvent with the cationic part of sulfur dioxide, and anionic part of water with the anionic part of sulfur dioxide. So those are going to be the products for the for this reaction, for the we can say the solvolysis reaction for ammonium acetate. So solvolysis of some covalent halides can be accomplished in a sealed tube in sulfur dioxide. This is example of PCl5. So this reaction can be accomplished in a sealed tube in SO2 atmosphere. So we'll get POCl3 and SOCl2. Also, solvation is more common than solvolysis. So solvation, this sulfur dioxide is more common to solvation. So here these are the compounds which are easily formed by the solvation. And here, as we know that there is water of crystallization. So here the SO2s present after the point, after the dot, represent the sulfur dioxide of crystallization. So it is sodium iodide with dot 4 SO2, rubidium iodide dot 4 SO2, KBr dot 4 SO2. So these are the sulfur dioxides of crystallization. Next are the precipitation reactions. A large number of precipitation reactions can be carried out due to selective solubility of sulfur dioxide. So we can precipitate a variety of reagents due to selective solubility, because SO2 is very selective for solubility of different compounds. So here is the precipitation reaction. We can precipitate out antimony iodide by reacting SbCl3 plus Li lithium iodide. We get antimony iodide, which will precipitate in the presence of sulfur dioxide as solvent. Also, we'll get the precipitates of PbSO4. These two precipitation reactions are very important for the precipitation of these two compounds, which is only possible, or we can say which can be accomplished in liquid sulfur dioxide as solvent, and these are not possible in case of water or ammonia. Also, sulfur dioxide can be used for the preparation of thionyl derivatives. So here is the example of the preparation of thionyl derivative. So here, if we are using liquid sulfur dioxide as solvent and we are reacting silver salt of acetic acid with SOCl2, we'll get the thionyl acetate. This is also another important reaction which can be carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide, that is the preparation of thionyl derivatives. Next are the complex formation reactions. Due to the formation of soluble complexes, solubility of iodine in liquid sulfur dioxide can be greatly increased. So as it forms soluble complexes. So here is a reaction which can be carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide, that is Ki plus I2, it will give us Ki3. Also rubidium iodide plus I2 gives RbI3. So here this is due to the formation of soluble complexes that iodine is soluble in liquid sulfur dioxide. So next reaction is AlCl3 plus K2SO3. It will give us Al2SO3 first. That is, here it is just exchange reaction, or we can say double salt form, double replacement reaction, where the replacement reaction where the salts are just exchanging in between the cations and the anion. So this compound is insoluble, but when we use excess of K2SO3, a soluble complex is formed, which is having formula, that is a potassium complex is formed, potassium complex of aluminium sulfide. So this is a soluble complex. This is also an important reaction, that once the insoluble salt is formed, after when we react this with excess, and we'll get the formation of a soluble complex. Next are the organic reactions. Many organic reactions are there which can be carried out due to the solubility of organic compounds and inert nature of liquid sulfur dioxide. So these are the two reasons why the organic reactions can be carried out in liquid sulfur dioxide. So first is a sulfonation reaction. Sulfonation can be done with SO3 and chlorosulfuric acid in liquid sulfur dioxide. So benzene reacting with chlorosulfuric acid or SO3 in liquid sulfur dioxide can accomplish the sulfonation reaction. That is, one of the hydrogen is going to be replaced by this group, SO3H group. Next is the Friedel-Crafts acylation or alkylation. This reaction is also feasible in the presence of AlCl3 in liquid sulfur dioxide. So alkylation and acylation is also an important reaction. Also, as solvent for the addition and substitution, the sulfur dioxide acts as a solvent. These are the important organic reactions which can be carried out in sulfur dioxide and not in case of aqueous, we can say water or ammonia. So these are very important reactions which can be accomplished in liquid sulfur dioxide as solvent. So also here we have shown the for the addition and substitution of bromine. as bromine is soluble in SO2. So liquid sulfur dioxide can be used as solvent for the addition and substitution of bromine, because bromine is soluble in SO2. So easily substitution and addition of bromine over different compounds can be done. Here addition reaction over styrene has been shown, and here the substitution for phenol here is shown. Next are the redox reactions. So gaseous SO2 can be used as both oxidizing as well as reducing agent, but liquid sulfur dioxide is just a medium, so it is useful. So we can carry out redox reaction in the presence of liquid sulfur dioxide, because it will not act as oxidizing or reducing agent. It will have the stability field over there for different reducing and oxidizing agent. Also, there is an important reaction in which is carried out in the presence of liquid sulfur dioxide, is the liberation of iodine with by reacting Ki with either antimony chloride or ferric chloride. So we get the iodine gas. Here are some of the important features of sulfur. We have discussed the majorly the important reactions which are carried out in sulfur dioxide. The reactions which we have discussed here in this video are very important for the point of view of your exams. These reactions directly come in your exams. These are the direct questions which can be asked about the complete the reaction types, or what products are going to be formed. Write down the reaction for this and this particular thing in the presence of sulfur dioxide. So these are the kind of questions which can be there in your exams from this portion. So now coming back to some important features of sulfur dioxide as solvent. So it is low boiling, so can be separated by evaporation. So here this is not a problematic solvent. So as it is low boiling, so it can easily be separated. We can separate out the product as well as the reactants and remove the solvent. Because of its low melting point, reactions can be carried out at low temperature. So we can carry out reactions for those reactants which are sensitive to temperature. Also, it exhibit inert. It behaves as an inert solvent. It itself doesn't react with, because it is in the liquefied form, so it doesn't react with other compounds. Also, it is having high solvating power both for covalent as well as ionic compounds. So solvation reactions are very common in case of liquid sulfur dioxide. Also, it can be used as diluent for superacids, which decreases the viscosity of such superacids and without affecting their acidic strength. So this is an important application of liquid sulfur dioxide, that it acts as a diluent for superacids. So this was all about the sulfur dioxide. And with this, we are done with our this unit also, that is non-aqueous solvents. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day.